with you. There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow.
What it do, nephew? It's your Uncle Lou, and I'm coming at you with something that you already know I'm finna do. Now, this is another video coming from Fern, and you know I love the storytelling, and everybody has played the McDonald's Monopoly game. That's where you got the little scratch and peel offs on the little burger box or the little drink cups, right? This video by Fern is titled The McDonald's Monopoly Scam. Not gonna waste no more time. We just gonna see what that is.
Inside a stuffy field office of the FBI in Jacksonville. It's a notoriously sleepy outpost of the Bureau, until today. A mysterious informant calls up the office to let them know that the famous beloved McDonald's Monopoly game is rigged. A ring of criminals have been secretly pulling the strings for over a decade. More than $24 million have been stolen. The FBI kicks off a manhunt with 25 agents on the case. 20,000 phone numbers will be surveilled. It will ultimately result in a massive undercover sting operation. The agents will discover that behind this scheme is a vast network of mafiosos, psychics, strip club owners, and Mormons. But one mastermind sits at the center of it all. He holds the keys to the treasure and rakes in most of the profits.
Off a damn McDonald's game?
As Uncle Jerry. How did he do it?
I love the production, man. This Tarantino soundtrack coming through you in all black. Uncle Lou gonna provide that. Uncle Lou gonna show you that. Uncle Lou don't even rap. Ads. I don't like that. Come on, nephew. I ain't paying for that.
It's the Monopoly game, only at McDonald's. With over 50 million prizes, it's supersized excitement.
Starting in 1987, McDonald's launched
Nephew, uncle ain't that old.
The Monopoly promotion and started putting little game pieces from Monopoly onto their packaging.
This is Jeff Maish. He's a crime journalist who broke the story in 2018, 17 years after the convictions. His article went viral and set off a holiday bidding war for the rights to his story. He ultimately sold them for $1 million.
And I have one here. I don't collect many things from my stories, but I do have one of the original winning game cups here.
That's crazy.
It says "Pool to Play," and on the side you can just see it says, "To collect and win, just peel off the game stamp and apply to your game board. And when you've applied enough pieces to your game board and you've won a prize, you mail it off to McDonald's."
What?
And they send you your...
God damn, that's such a long-ass process.
Your Game Gear or your Dodge Viper.
McDonald's usually runs the game twice per year. The cash prizes are up to $1 million in an instant win. The chance at winning that prize is 1 in 250 million. The game brings McDonald's fat profits. Whenever the game is running, business increases by up to...
That means that, nephew, nobody's winning.
40% more than usual. 1 in 250 million is an extremely long shot. You're far more likely to get struck by lightning, twice. But the caller on the phone with the agents in Jacksonville that day said that 3 of the recent big-ticket winners were in fact related, despite having different names. The odds for 3 legitimate winners to all be related are inconceivably low.
Damn, 3?
The caller also claimed that one man, who they only knew by Uncle Jerry, was the mastermind behind the scheme. The FBI doesn't know this yet, but his full name is Jerome Jacobson.
That's a nice name.
In a case
I feel like that
this,
sounds familiar.
The FBI might have to surveil suspects to collect evidence. But what if someone collects all this information about you and they don't have a legitimate reason? Today, the internet is full of threats. Some of them involve our most sensitive information.
Let me guess, this is an ad.
In fact, there is a huge shadow industry surrounding our data. So-called data brokers snatch your browsing history, your contact information, and...
Jerry Jacobson is one of those just incredible characters in American true crime history. Because he was at one stage a good guy, a police officer in Florida.
As a kid, Jerry is obsessed with becoming an FBI agent. When he starts working as a police officer, it seems like he's on that track. But his career in law enforcement is very brief. He develops health problems, and is unable to continue.
Oh, man.
Later, he finds a job in security at Simon Marketing. This is where he really finds his stride. He's known for being ultra-professional and ultra-fastidious, so he quickly rises through the ranks.
Fuck, I love vocabulary words. What word was that?
He's known for being ultra-professional and ultra-fastidious.
Fastidious.
So he quickly rises through the ranks. In just a few years, he's earning 6 times his police officer salary. It's the end of the 80s. Jerry is now the head of security at Simon Marketing. McDonald's outsources almost all of their promotional activity to the company.
Fastidious, very attentive to and concerned about accuracy and detail.
So when the chain comes up with the ingenious idea
Fastidious.
of starting a monopoly promotion, Simon Marketing is tasked with producing and distributing the game pieces.
So it was Jerry's job to ensure the security of the entire promotion. So he arrived at work, he had to supervise the big supercomputer that would draw the winning piece. He would supervise the technicians who were putting the winning tokens onto the packaging. He had to personally scissor them out from a printing press.
Jerry's a tough boss. As a former cop, he's obsessed with rules and security. He's constantly writing up people for little missteps, and he hounds everyone in the factory involved in token production, even following them to the bathroom and checking their shoes to make sure none have been stolen.
Damn.
Jerry personally delivers the winning pieces to McDonald's packaging factories across the country.
He hides each piece in a secret vest that he wears under his shirt as he's travelling around the United States, feeling a little bit like a secret agent or a superhero with a secret. Every time he arrives in a new state, he's carrying a secret piece that's going to make somebody a millionaire.
When new game pieces are released, Jerry makes a big flashy show of how secure the process was. In truth, Jerry starts stealing from McDonald's.
Crazy.
His first theft is small fry. At this point, he only wants to help his stepbrother Marvin Braun out, and maybe show off a bit to prove that he can. So in 1989, he gives Marvin a game piece worth $25,000. Marvin is the first fake winner. Pretty much a victimless crime, right? McDonald's is giving away the money anyway, and it's not like the chain is some noble charity. The game earns them considerable profits. Plus, Jerry later testifies that whenever the computer selected a Canadian factory to get a winning token, Simon Marketing would allegedly run the program again so that a US location was chosen. In Jerry's view, this means the game is already rigged in favor of American players. So why not get his own piece of the
That's
pie?
crazy, bro. That's why I don't like playing these games and
then one
raffles
day
and
he's
lotteries.
talking to his butcher in the local supermarket, and he tells the butcher what's going on, and the butcher says, well, I'd like to win.
Jerry agrees, but he wants to make sure that nothing traces back to him. So he instructs the butcher to give the prize to a friend of his.
And of course, Jerry turns on his television one day and there's a commercial from McDonald's with a lucky winner on it, and he sees his butcher celebrating his win and he goes crazy. And he calls the butcher and says, what are you doing? We know each other. You can't... We're friends. So Jerry decides that in the future he's going to have to find winners at random. He needs people that are not connected to him at all. So the conspiracy grows bigger.
Until this point, it's all
Damn,
relatively
where
small
was I? What?
amounts of
Well, I
money.
wasn't alive. But
one
damn.
day, Jerry receives a package by mistake.
And inside, a blank set of anti-tamper seals from Hong Kong, which means that he has everything he needs to open the envelopes and steal the game pieces for himself, and then use a spare seal to stick it back down and basically get away with the crime. Simon Marketing, the company that Jerry works for, hires an independent auditor to make sure everything's going okay. Remember, this is a
The auditor always
multi-million-dollar
gonna catch
promotion.
it.
They have to be all buttoned up.
Auditor always gonna catch it.
The auditor is a very serious woman. She means business. She accompanies Jerry everywhere, and Jerry's always getting on her nerves. When he wants to fly first class on the company card, she insists on sitting in coach. He's getting drunk and bragging to her about it, showing off the empty liquor bottles. He's shutting up whoever will listen, bragging about once having been a cop. He's also obsessed with accumulating airline points, so he's flying to factories in random cities just because. And the whole time she has to follow him. She's watching Uncle Jerry like a hawk. Her job is to make sure that when Jerry hands the winning ticket over to a factory, that everything goes as it should, that the tickets always stay in his special security vest. And they do. up to a point, the point where she can't follow him. In the men's bathroom, Jerry quits procrastinating.
Damn.
With a few quick, deliberate movements, he takes the envelopes with winning pieces out of his vest, opens the seal, and replaces them with regular game pieces. He seals the envelope back down with
How did
one
he
of his
get
special
caught?
anti-tamper seals, the godsend from Hong Kong, and slinks back to his seat like nothing ever happened. The auditor has no idea.
So how do you get caught? You have a whole damn system down. Jerry got a whole system down.
If the anti-temper seals had not been accidentally mailed to him, and the auditor assigned to him hadn't been female, maybe none of this would have happened. Or maybe if he ignored the temptation, he would have enjoyed a nice, normal, comfortable life. Adjusted for inflation, he was earning over $170K per year in today's money. But he went for it. For Jerry,
Damn.
the opportunity to control the game is no accident. He doesn't believe in accidents. He's a superstitious man.
So he was
I
making
know
over
that at
6
that
figures
time-
and still bullshitting around
This
with
is-
this.
This is
He
kind of
was
silly.
bored.
At this time, he starts seeing psychics and mediums to reassure him. He's a strong believer in paranormal and faith healers. So he starts seeing mediums and psychics and fortune tellers.
Jerry now has full access to the winning game pieces, but he can't cash them in himself, of course. That would arouse suspicion. He needs to find fake winners who will pay him upfront for the game piece. His butcher, for example, asks a distant friend to pay $2,000 for a $10,000 winning ticket. The higher the prize, the higher the cost. Up to $100,000 upfront for a $1 million ticket.
Damn.
And it works. But quickly Jerry starts to tap through his network. He needs to put distance between himself and the winners. He's on the look for middlemen, well-connected people who can industrialize the operation, and being a superstitious person, he takes chance encounters as meaningful signs.
So he's at the airport one day and he meets another Jerry Colombo, and the two hit it off waiting there for their aeroplanes. Mr. Colombo is a very heavy-set Italian-American gentleman, and Mr. Colombo claimed that he was part of the infamous Colombo crime family.
Colombo is a larger-than-life character, like someone who modeled his whole personality off of The Sopranos, and Uncle Jerry is lapping it all up.
He's an entertainer. He says he's born in Sicily, raised in Brooklyn. He's got these underground casinos. And I think Jerry is just completely enamored by him. And he also seems like the type of guy that could find winners really easily.
Colombo even has an out-of-zone strip club in South Carolina that he got designated as a house of worship in order to skirt regulations.
Man.
He calls it the Church of the Fuzzy Bunnies, and he has the dancers read the Bible before they start stripping.
Well, I guess God hasn't talked to you lately. He came to me in a dream a couple of weeks ago, and he told me what I'm doing is fine.
Uncle Jerry appreciates Colombo's ability to think outside the box. It doesn't take much to rope Colombo into the scam. Uncle Jerry passes Colombo a game piece for a Dodge Viper, and Colombo is hooked. He is also obsessed with The Godfather, surprise, surprise, and has dreams of being an actor. So he agrees to be in a McDonald's commercial, waving a car key.
Jerry Colombo won a Dodge Viper, and there are two 1 million.
He gets to live out his acting ambitions, but it means he's now too close to the game to profit from it directly, so he has to start finding other winners, which helps the scheme take off for Uncle Jerry. Colombo is brilliant at finding new winners willing to pay, and he sends the majority of the kickbacks to Uncle Jerry. The two Jerrys are making each other very rich. Jerry Colombo keeps picking Italian-American men on the East Coast as winner, and his father-in-law gets a $1 million piece. Not exactly the move of a mastermind mafioso. To make the win seem random, his wife Robin convinces him to get women and people of color winning tickets in other parts of the country.
Where the
For a
fuck was
while, it's
I?
all going so well. But then, everything changes.
Things are not going very well in Colombo's marriage. Robin Colombo's feeling like she might not want to be a mafia wife.
That's why
She's
you don't
feeling
tell
a bit
people your
paranoid
business.
about life.
That's literally what in The Sopranos with the I can't think of the wife's name right now, but with Tony's wife, she was feeling
In the mob.
the mafia
and
life.
one day she's driving with her husband, Colombo, and suddenly a massive Ford truck smashes into them. And it's a horrendous high-speed crash, and their car is crushed against a concrete wall.
Colombo is taken to the hospital, where he takes a turn for the worse. He dies a few days after the crash.
Whoa!
Now Uncle Jerry is alone. He's just lost his super recruiter. and he doesn't know it yet, but the FBI is on his trail.
Fuck!
Who knows? We don't know. So many people could have called the FBI. A disgruntled winner. Remember, a lot of these winners, their lives changed. One minute they're poor, the next minute they got $1 million. They're driving around in a Corvette. There's a lot of jealousy. There's now so many corrupt winners out there, dozens of people. They might be drunk.
I wouldn't tell a soul
about it at the bar.
I wouldn't
Uncle
tell
Jerry
a
finds new
soul.
recruiters to replace Jerry Colombo's role. Some are dodgy, like the drug trafficker A.J. Glomb. He's just jumped bond for a 12-year sentence for shipping kilos of cocaine across the U.S. and sells most
Cocaine.
of his winning pieces to buddies from the drug dealing business. Other recruiters that Uncle Jerry finds are seemingly upstanding, like the Mormon Dwight Baker, a beloved member of his church with no previous criminal record. He's a real estate developer with 5 kids trying to get his dreams for a golf course and a luxury resort off the ground. But he struggled to find investors, and he also owes tens of thousands of dollars in back taxes. A windfall would really help him, so despite his moral misgivings, he gets involved in the scheme too. But none of the recruiters are careful enough. The winners they select aren't random.
Well, that's the problem. When you gonna do some shit, stop involving people. If you're gonna fucking do something, do it yourself.
Back in 2000, when the FBI gets the name Uncle Jerry from the informant, they know nothing about who it could be. Is he a McDonald's insider? Is it even a real name? McDonald's shares the contact information of all the previous winners with the FBI. To find out who Uncle Jerry is, the officers analyze the winners' phone records to determine who they were in frequent contact with right around the time of their win. All these people, who are seemingly unrelated and don't know each other, were in contact with a certain Jerome Jacobson. The FBI is sure they found their man, but they need proof, like a taped conversation with Jerry and a fake winner that spells out what they're up to, evidence that no jury could deny. They convince McDonald's to run one more Monopoly game to catch him red-handed. It's certainly a reputational risk for the company. How would the public feel if they found out McDonald's had run a game they knew was rigged? But the company also wants to know who'd stolen millions from them, so they comply.
Damn.
Together with McDonald's, the FBI come up with a McSting.
How do they
create
know
2
he
big
gonna
wins
play?
worth $1 million each.
Oh,
They then
wow.
monitor Jerry Jacobson and his network closely and wait for someone to claim the prices. They listen in on a phone call of a friend of the Mormon Dwight Baker, Huey. He says that he plans to sell the winning prize to someone in Texas. This someone turns out to be his brother-in-law, who tries to claim the price a few days later. The second big winner is Michael Hoover. He was recruited by Andrew Glomb, the drug trafficker.
Now, Mr. Hoover is bankrupt and a casino pit boss in Rhode Island. So a bit of a sketchy character. So he rings the hotline and says, I found $1 million game ticket. So the FBI and McDonald's decide to go down there to meet him. They knock on the door. They've got a giant check, you know, the comedy-sized checks, and a video crew, and all of the McDonald's staff are actually FBI agents who are undercover. And so they do a television interview, and Mr. Hoover gives this long-winded story about how he found his magic ticket. He bought a copy of a magazine, and the magazine had fallen into the sea, and then he bought another magazine and the ticket was in there. So the camera crew listened to this very patiently. The men behind the camera are undercover FBI agents, and they give him his prize and they take all that evidence, and not long after that the FBI descend and they arrest everyone. So the FBI fans out, they arrest Uncle Jerry at home.
That's crazy, bro. The amount of shit that the police will go
Over 50
to,
people
the
were
effort.
indicted, and dozens of wins were proven to be fake. Jerry admitted on the stand to having stolen 60 game pieces. And for a while, America followed the consequences intensely. So many millions had played the McDonald's game, so people were invested in the story. Burger King tried to get a class action lawsuit together, alleging fake advertisement. The trial began on September 10th, 2001.
Wow.
Then the world's attention shifted. There were bigger things to care about than the McDonald's PR scandal.
The day, holy shit. The day before,
Nearly all of the 53 defendants pled guilty,
Just
including
coincidence.
Uncle Jerry. Fines were issued and prison time was sentenced. Uncle Jerry got the most, $12 million in restitution fees, and a
restitution.
37-month prison sentence.
Woo.
Simon Marketing and the printing company who made the tokens were gutted, leaving hundreds jobless. And Dwight Baker was excommunicated from the Mormon Church. The game of Monopoly was invented in the 1930s, the decade of the Great Depression, by a feminist activist. She intended to teach people about the evils of wealth accumulation. By the 1980s, the decade of greed, the game's original purpose was distorted. McDonald's, a multi-billion-dollar corporation, used it as a way to make even more money. Then, that game was overtaken by an ex-cop called Uncle Jerry, who defrauded the corporation of millions. He turned himself into a real-life Uncle Pennybags, running around the United States, giving some people money, but taking more for himself. The perfect American fable. Uncle Jerry lived the high life for over a decade, but as anyone who's played Monopoly knows, sometimes you have to go to jail. It's just part of the game.
Damn, that's a
Considering
bar.
the huge amount of money stolen, the high price the investigation cost U.S. citizens, and the many people who lost their jobs through no fault of their own, Uncle Jerry's 3-year sentence feels like a light slap on the wrist. He's retired
Facts.
in Georgia with his 7th wife in a nice big house. Sure,
7th wife? Oh my gosh. I don't even think what?
he has to pay back $12 million, but at a relaxed
I don't
rate
even
of
think
just
I've been through 7
$370 a month.
relationships. What the fuck?
Besides, people who are close to him are sure he kept some millions buried as a contingency plan. That's just the kind of guy he was.
So, Uncle Jerry. Not no ice cream, but Uncle Jerry. Shout out to Uncle Jerry. He did the McDonald's Monopoly scam. Shout out to Fern. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Shout out to Fern for this very beautiful production. They always bring us the best work. And shout out to you guys. Can't get close to 300. We closing in on 300. Last I checked, we're less than 30 away. Make sure we clicking that button, sub up. You guys will be a part of the first 300 of the Uncle Lou, right? I really do appreciate you, nephew. I appreciate you stopping by, give me your time. You know where I'm gonna be at, and I hope you're gonna be in that next one with me. Make sure you share this video with somebody so you can put them on. Make sure you leave a like and comment if you want me to react to something in particular. If you got something else to say, it don't matter to me. It's too late. I'm already leaving. Peace.